I would also like to welcome Alejo Campos, who's the Director of Crime Stoppers Latin America, which uses intelligence and community engagement to disrupt organized crime networks. And I would also like to welcome Dr. Moisés Reznick, who's the founder of Dolorfin Ministries, which provides trauma care, chiropractic work, and spiritual healing to survivors. Well, I want to first of all say thank you guys so much for being here today and traveling from across the globe to be here and talk about this very, very important issue. So thank you. So I'm first going to start off with you, Dr. Abazovic. As the former head of state, you understand the systemic challenges in combating trafficking. What international or governmental gaps do you see most exploited by traffickers, and how can countries strengthen cross-border collaboration?
Thank you, Sam. First of all, it's my great honor to be here. I coming from Montenegro, which is not so big country, it's a small country, but it's really great when you have the possibility to share experience with friends from Latin America, from US, from Europe, from all around the globe about something which is question of humanity. First of all, organized crime don't have the nation, don't have religion, and is the evil which is present in every single country. The duty of every politician, but not only politician, but the ordinary people, is to fight against organized crime. In our country, we have a lot of problems with the traffickers. Not just human traffickers, but the trafficant of narco, of smuggling cigarettes, or different kind of things. And what was my big achievement is that we finally, after 30 years, starting to deliver results. It was impossible to do that without partnership with the big countries like US and using the international expertise of Interpol and Europol. What I see like a most problematic thing, the most problematic thing is because corruption is involved in every single institution. Corruption is involved in the court. Corruption is involved in prosecutor institution. Corruption is involved in police, in civil society, almost everywhere. So people who dealing with these kind of things, they have the network almost everywhere. What is the strategy? What is how we can deal with this? I heard a lot of good proposal in the morning, and probably in this panel we will hear some of the options. But for key thing for our countries in the region of Western Balkan, I think it's to implement the anti-mafia law. What is anti-mafia law? I think that we should really catch the property of the people who are directly connected with the organized crime. The idea of implementing anti-mafia law is to keep that kind of people without resource. Because what's happened in my country, and I think that is also in the region, maybe when you have the action against the trafficant, you put them in the jail, but the family, the friends of that person, they have the millions of euros which using for corruption, for the lawyers, for different kind of things. And the end of the day, they find a way to go out, and state don't find a way how to combine that in something what we can say that is sustainable and is good. So I think that implementation of anti-mafia law, it's something which is crucial for the country in the region. And not to spend too much time, we prepared that law in Montenegro during my mandate in the office, and I think that now we prepare also the society, also the public opinion, what is that important. So I think that this can be something very useful for the next period.
Thank you so much for sharing. So my next question is for Mr. Alejo Campos. So I know you work directly with intelligence and anonymous reporting. What role does community engagement and public awareness play in dismantling trafficking networks, and how can it be better utilized in Latin America and beyond?
Thank you, Sam. And first of all, thank you for Kaleido organization and CPAC and Rosy Orozco, I think she is there, to invite to us to come to here, to Washington, D.C., to talk about that. I think it's too important to have the space, to have the opportunity to share with you a lot of information we have from our countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. I am the director of Crime Stopper for Caribbean and Latin America, and we are working with with all the law enforcement system in our countries, and we share a lot of information about human trafficking or smuggling with the local authorities or the national authorities. You know, there are 50 million victims around the world, and this morning the senator said just 1 million are here in the United States. And all the victims maybe are waiting for us to be saved. And we have a big power right now to try to save them. And the power is the information. And maybe all the people in our countries have a lot of information about a possible victim in anywhere, but they don't have the trust in the local authorities to share the information. So we have anonymous channel to receive a lot of anonymous information about human trafficking, but smuggling, drugs trafficking, illicit trade, as you said, or money laundering, on corruption, because at the end, they are the same criminal structures working with different crime. For them, for this criminal, a person, a woman, a child is just a commercial product to be sold and resell and resell. And for them, there is just a common thing in all these kind of different crimes, and it's the roots and the markets. From Latin America, they are coming a lot of victims to different countries, to different regions in the United States, on Europe, on Asia, and there are the same route that's the criminal organizations are using to move cocaine or illicit goods. They are the same route. So they are connected. They are working together. They have like a criminal portfolio with different products and services. And one of these products is a person, is a woman or is a child from our countries. So I think it's very important, Sam, if all the people have the opportunity to share information with the local authorities, because this information could save life. That's very important. And if you don't want to go to the police department because you're afraid or it's far away from home, okay, you can use different anonymous channel using by phone. Today is very easy. You need to use the technology to share information with authorities. In Guatemala, for example, we have a very big cases, and the local authorities save a lot of victims, child victims, with anonymous information, because people is sharing a lot of information with the police in Guatemala and other countries like Panama, and they have they are working in a very deep investigation to try to stop the human trafficking structures. Because I know it's very important to save life, obviously, but at the same time, it's very important to do deep investigation, to try to really fight against those criminal structures. So at the end, the information from the citizen, the information from the people is very important. The information for you, from you is very important. I am sure in this room, a lot of people maybe have information about human trafficking or smuggling cases, and you can share the information. We did this QR code. We have the QR code, and I can share the code with you. It's a simple sticker, and you can share the code with your friends, family, neighborhood. It's very important because this code is to connect with the anonymous platform for reporting human trafficking. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and definitely we'll make sure that that QR code is shown to everyone towards the end of the panel. So thank you so much. So, Dr. Reznick, your ministry focuses on restoration and healing for survivors. In your work, what is typically the most overlooked needs of survivors once they're released?
Thank you. Thank you for CPACs. Thank you for Kaleido, Rosy Orozco, Fundación Camino a Casa. The issue with human trafficking, it's a global issue. The church has to be involved, government has to be involved, business has to be involved, but also restoration needs to be involved. Because when a person is hurt, it's not only physically, it's hurt spiritually and emotionally. We at Dollar Film, we take the victims, we give them chiropractic care, spiritual healing, and also train them so they can get restored in the world, so they can be functional, because of course they're traumatized. But like FRC said yesterday, Family Research Council want to get the church into the politics and change the law. What we have done is sensitize the business people to change the way they see this, because business people say, it's not my problem, it's not my issue, but it's not like that. So what we do is through this training system, it's called Látigo and Zanahoria, it's based on Deuteronomy 28, that if you do good, you get a reward, a carrot, or, but if you don't do good, you get a stick. So we train business people to say, let's see how can you get involved. If your people work right, they'll give you a carrot. But if they don't do right, they'll get a stick. And that stick is a financial stick. And that money goes to the Fundación Camino a Casa, or the human trade. So people get trained to do the correct way, to do the right things at the right time, at the right moment, at the right way. And if not, that financial consequence goes to bless somebody else. So business people get trained, they get better results, better teams, but also they bless people that they cannot have the financial situation to help each other. So business people get sensitized to help, because this is a global problem. It's a business problem, it's a church problem, it's a government problem, because it's a human problem. And who saves one life saves the world. That's what the Talmud says.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So typically with the panels I've moderated, they've typically been majority women. And so this time, for the first time ever, I'm moderating a panel of just men. And what I think is so special about this is that we do need men who are leaders in this movement and who are using their voices for change. So my question for all of you that I'd love each of you to answer is, what is the role of men and boys, both in prevention and in demand reduction, in the global fight against human trafficking?
Maybe we are on the stage more men, but I think that in the Capitol are more women. And if I am correct, CPAC organized this great event with a lot of women who was involved in this organization, and I want to congratulate. This is not a question for the men's or women's. This is a question for everybody. So question how we can find human trafficking is not a question only for politicians, but also for the teacher, for the student, for the taxi driver, for the business people, for everybody. Because we think that this is how we trying to support universal values. And I'm inviting all of my colleagues, especially let's say men, to advocating for this thing, because it's extremely important to build a society which is functional, productive, and which can protect our families and make the better life for everybody. What is crucial from my point of view? The crucial thing is what colleagues from Panama mentioned, is that we should share the information. We still don't know each other. The world now in this technological area have a lot of possibility to finish with something what is misunderstanding, what is not so good information from some of the region, because this is the common thing. And I think that this kind of events like CPAC make today in Capitolio is the great thing, how we can bring people from different continents, from different countries, from different religions, from all different kind of identities, to talk about something what is important for every single person in the world. We should fight against human trafficking. We should stop that evil, and we should make possible that the institutions are functional to protect every single, let's say, man and woman, boy and girl, everywhere in the world.
So I think there are two key words in this conversation, and it's education, and information. You know, we need to have a very good information about human trafficking to care yourself, but at the same time to care others. And this kind of conversation, this kind of panel where we can share information and we can hear the information from you is very important to keep learning about human trafficking. And especially today, we need information about the digital human trafficking, the cyber traffic, you know. In my conference in Spanish, I asked to the audience something like, in English could be, are you sure that your kids are safe at home right now? Because your kids are at home in the bedroom with tablets, with iPhones, with a computer, with a lot of digital tools. But remember, the criminals, the traffickers, are behind the technology, are inside of the technology. They are using the technologies. And our kids are not prepared to stop the criminal in the social media, in the video games, in the different apps. And the parents, you and I, we are not prepared as well to understand this new digital environment, because we are a different generation. I am talking about me. But we are a different generation, so we need more information about how the criminal structures globally are working on the digital area. So for me, the information and education about that is very, very important.
Thank you, Alejo. Sam, that's a great question. There's a big issue of values in males. We have lost our values. We are the #1 consumers of pornography, of street bars, and other things. If there's consumption, if there's demand of the product, there'll be suppliers. We need to stop as fathers, you know, educate our kids, educate our enterprises, our companies in values, because you don't know that girl that is dancing that night, what's behind that. So we need to sensitize males about consuming sex outside of your marriage. God made a woman and a man so that we can be together and be fruitful and multiply, not outside the marriage. So we need to sensitize. We need to sensitize our kids, and we have to be strong and courageous and stop this issue, because God forbid anybody, you know, it's liable to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for sharing. So one final question, just to close this up. What gives you hope in this fight, and what message would you leave with other young leaders and advocates who are going to be watching today?
What gives us hope? I see hope everywhere. And I see good people around me, I see the hope. We should never be pessimistic in the concept, because in the end of the day, the good will win. But what is our duty is to work for that. And my call is for the young people, young leaders, everywhere around the globe, just follow your dream, believe in better world and advocating for the human rights everywhere around the globe. And in the end, I think that we will live in much more optimistic world. Maybe today it's not looking like that, but hope is inside of us, and I think that we should just share the positive energy and optimism everywhere. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible, and in the end, good will win.
Oh, I think keep working and keep working. And I loved that expression that the Secretary said this morning, justice and love. Justice and love and keep working. I think it's very key to think about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Alejo. You might not change the whole world. Might not. You know, even Jesus didn't change the whole world or didn't heal everybody. But he changed with 12 people. You know, and of those 12, if I ask you the name of the apostles, you might only remember 3 because 8 of them didn't know and 1 betrayed him. So it doesn't matter what your team it is, you can change the world with 12 people because that's what he did. So don't deny the power of your word. God didn't make a perfect world. He made a free world. So you have the power to choose. Choose life. Choose freedom, because that's the highest value. I'm not a beauty queen. I'm not a former prime minister. I'm not a crime stopper. I'm just a human being. But if you raise your voice, you work hard, you create system, you can change the world, because as the history of the world has been like that. Couple of friends, couple of females, and they have changed the world. And we can do it. We need to stop this.
Well, thank you so much to my panelists for being here today. It was an honor to have you all. Thank you again for flying from across the world to be here and for your fight against human trafficking. I'm really excited to see what else you guys accomplish in the future, and I hope that we were able to start a meaningful conversation on trafficking across the globe. So thank you.